Hello, and welcome to another episode of Pampering Myself podcast. Hello. To my new listeners, welcome. I hope something that we say will inspire you to come back. And to my returning guests, I thank you so much. Today is episode number 67. 'Tis the season. The holiday season can be a joyful time, but for some it can also be challenging and very overwhelming. And whether it's the family dynamics, financial stress, or feelings of loneliness and loss, everyone experiences this time of year differently. So how do we show up and support those we care about while taking care of ourselves? In this episode, we're exploring ways to offer meaningful support and empathy during the holiday season, recognizing signs when someone is struggling and setting boundaries to avoid burnout for ourselves. Tune in for some real talk on making this holiday season a little easier for everyone. Now, according to a recent survey conducted by MedStar Health, 74% of Americans said Christmas is stressful, and 55% said it's the most stressful holiday of the year. Now, we know the holiday season is usually painted as this joyful, fun-filled time with laughter and celebration. But let's be real, it can be tough for a lot of people. Just think about it. Family gatherings can bring out some complicated dynamics with old conflicts and unresolved tensions popping up like unwanted guests. There's this pressure to create that perfect holiday vibe, which can really ramp up feelings of anxiety or frustration. And when family members have different opinions or past issues they haven't dealt with, it can turn a cheerful gathering into a bit of a minefield. So while everyone else seems to be enjoying the festivities, some are just trying to navigate the emotional roller coaster that comes with it. For anyone who lost a loved one, the holiday season can really hit hard. Being surrounded by all those reminders of family gatherings and old traditions can feel pretty overwhelming. It's tough when everyone else is celebrating and you're just trying to cope with that sense of loss. The joy in the air can make feeling of loneliness or sadness stand out even more, especially during this time of the year. And then there's the financial stress, which really ramps up around the holiday time. There's so much pressure to buy gifts, to throw parties, to travel. It can be a lot to handle. And when you're trying to keep up with those expectations, but your budget just isn't cooperating, it can be super overwhelming. Now, we often think the holiday season is all about joy and happiness, but for some folks, it really stirs up feelings of anxiety, sadness, or even depression. That's why it's super important to offer support and empathy during this time, because it can really make a huge difference to someone who's feeling overwhelmed or disconnected. And when people are dealing with grief or loneliness or financial stress, knowing that someone genuinely cares and is there for them can be such a relief. It's not just about being there in person. It's about really listening and acknowledging what they're going through without judging them. Just that little bit of understanding can go a long way in helping someone feel a bit better during the holidays. It's not always easy to tell when someone is struggling during the holiday, so picking up on these signs can really help. Sometimes people might start behaving differently, like pulling away from social events or dodging talks about the holiday plans. You might notice changes in their mood. They could be more irritable or just seem down when they usually have a good vibe. Even little things like losing interest in activities that they used to love or suddenly not wanting to join in. Can these be clues? Yes. When you know someone well, you can usually tell when they're acting a little bit off or just not themselves. Well, according to my research, here are 5 suggested ways to offer meaningful support. Number 1, listen actively. Active listening means giving someone your full attention without interrupting or jumping in to offer solutions. Sometimes just feeling heard can make a big difference for someone who's struggling. I need to also mention, please put down the phone. If you're scrolling on your phone while engaged in a conversation with someone, you're not giving them your full attention. Contrary to what you believe. Most of us will say, I can hear you, I'm listening. No, it's impossible. And quite frankly, it's kind of rude to the person who is trying to either vent or you're having that discussion with. Is it really that important? Put the phone down. Listen actively. Participate. Number 2, validate their feelings. Let them know that whatever they're feeling is okay and understandable. You might want to phrase it like, it's normal to feel this way, or that sounds really tough. That can help acknowledge their emotions without trying to fix or change them. Validating doesn't mean you have to agree. It's about recognizing that their feelings are real and legitimate. And sometimes people just want to vent. They're not asking you to fix anything. Just listen. Number 3, create alternative celebrations. Traditional holiday celebrations aren't always the best fit for everyone, especially if they bring up painful memories or stress. Being open to alternative ways of celebrating, like a laid-back potluck, a movie marathon, or volunteering together, allows more inclusive and comfortable experiences. It shows that there's no right way to spend the holidays. It's okay to do something different if the situation calls for it. Number 4, help with practical support. Offering tangible help like picking up groceries, helping with holiday prep, or running an errand can relieve some of the pressure. Sometimes people aren't sure how to ask for practical help, so offering specific support can make it easier for them to accept. Even small actions can help lighten their load during a busy or emotional taxing season. Number 5, be inclusive. Make an effort to include those who might be feeling left out or who don't have close family ties. This could mean inviting them to gatherings or reaching out to let them know they're welcome. The feeling of being included, especially during the holidays, can help reduce loneliness and foster a sense of belonging. And don't forget those who are shut in or seniors who can't get around. This can be a tough time of the year for them as well. It's awesome to be there for others during the holidays, but it's just as important to know your own limits. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's about making sure you can help be supportive without running yourself into the ground. Remember, you're not responsible for fixing everyone's problems or carrying their emotional baggage. It's totally okay to admit you need a break, or when all you can offer is a listening ear. Sometimes just being there is enough. If you try to do too much, especially when you've got your own stuff going on, it can lead to exhaustion and even resentment. Trust me, I've been there. And then you end up feeling guilty for having those feelings. So while you're supporting others, don't forget to take care of yourself. Make sure you carve out some time to unwind, whether that's going for a walk, enjoying a quiet moment with a cup of tea, or just switching off your phone for a bit. It's easy to get caught up in the holiday stress, but keeping that balance can help you stay grounded. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't hesitate to ask for help. Reach out to a friend or a family member you trust. Just like you're there for others, it's perfectly fine to lean on someone else for a little support. By setting boundaries and taking care of yourself, you're not just looking out for you, you're also ensuring that the support you give comes from a genuine place, not from exhaustion. It's a good reminder that being there for others during the holidays doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your own peace of mind. So here are a few tips you may want to consider when supporting someone. Be patient. The holiday season can bring up all sorts of emotions for people, and sometimes they may even not fully understand what they're feeling. Being patient means giving others the space and the time they need to process without rushing them to feel better or trying to cheer them up immediately. Patience can also mean being okay with silence and letting someone open up in their own time. We all grieve or process pain differently. It can't be rushed. Next, avoid making assumptions. It's easy to assume that everyone enjoys the holidays or that they're excited to celebrate, but that's not always the case. Some people might have reasons, past or present, why this time of the year is tough. Instead of assuming they're doing okay or pushing them to participate, it's better to ask gentle, open-minded questions and listen without judgment. But it's okay to accept you may not know or understand why. Small gestures can mean a lot. Support doesn't always have to be a grand gesture. A simple text message checking in, dropping off a homemade treat, or inviting them for a casual walk can go a long way. It's often those small, thoughtful acts that make someone feel seen and valued during a time when they might be feeling overlooked or alone. Next, ask what they need. Everyone's needs are different, so it's always helpful to ask directly what kind of support would be most helpful. Some people might want company. Others might need a break from the holiday pressure or a little help with holiday tasks. By asking, you're showing that their needs matter, and it keeps you from assuming what is best. And finally, be open to new traditions or celebrations. Holidays don't have to follow a traditional script, especially when old traditions are painful or unfulfilling. Being open to new ways of celebrating, like volunteering together, having a low-key movie night, or creating a new shared tradition can make the holiday season feel more inclusive and less stressful for everyone. This flexibility can also show those around you that it's okay to refine what the holiday means to them. I have a story I like to share. I'm reminded about this tradition that I had to change. It wasn't necessarily one that involved the family. Every year, since I was an adult, my mother had passed when I was 18 years old, and I started putting up my own Christmas tree. I would put an angel, a dove on the tree for every family member that had passed. And I think I told the story before. It was symbolic. For me, it was letting them know that they were a part of the holiday season, and I would put this dove on the tree. Well, over time, of course, as we know, more started transitioning. There was my brother, then it was my mother-in-law, and father-in-law, and my father. And every year that I had to add someone to this tree, it became depressing. And every year, as I put that tree up, it would be something that I would have to go through, what I'm going to label, if all honesty, as a very depressing moment in putting that tree up, because I was thinking of them. In conclusion, remember, offering empathy and understanding can make a huge difference, even in small ways. Sometimes it's just about letting someone know you're there and that their feelings matter. And while you're caring for others, don't forget to care of yourself. Set boundaries and practice a little self-care to keep your own energy in check. If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend or someone you know who might be navigating the holiday season. As always, I appreciate you listening and being a part of this community. And until next time, take care and stay kind to yourself and those around you. Wishing you and yours a blessed and safe holiday season. And don't forget to tune in to our regularly scheduled recordings every fourth Saturday at noon. God bless you. We're serving the purpose. The more people I was putting on that tree, they couldn't get any closer than my parents and my sibling, that I just couldn't do it anymore. So when you consider things that make you feel some kind of way, you do what you have to do. And changing these traditions may be something that is necessary. So if you find yourself in a position of not feeling good about something that is going on, whether it's a financial situation or a conflict with family members or whatever, do whatever you think is necessary to resolve it, to not only be at peace with yourself, but to be at peace with those around you, because we do not have to suffer necessarily in silence or around the holiday season.